here's your host, Billy C. and Brooklyn Mike.
We're coming at you from the LDL TV studio in South Florida. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talkin' New York Sports with Billy C. and Brooklyn Mike. And speaking of Brooklyn Mike, he joins me right now. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother, how are you today?
Great. Deer out and fertilizer. I agree. You know, and if you're going to go to the party, you're going to have a few drinks. These guys lose more money. They have more money in their couch than I make in a year.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. There's no excuse.
This whole thing with Hernandez and the New England Patriots, or former New England Patriots, Aaron Hernandez. Belichick and the team and Brady, they finally had to address it. They were forced to. They said they made a mistake. They're moving on. We talked about them cutting ties and trading in the jersey and everything else. But they showed the video. They released the video for the first time that they actually confiscated from Aaron Hernandez's house. And this is the prosecution, which, by the way, requested an extension to prepare their case, which I thought was BS. Now, I'm a strong believer of you're innocent until proven guilty. The media has made this out to be a slam dunk case that Hernandez not only murdered this kid from the semi-pro football team, but he's also being implicated in not one but two other murders, gang-style drive-by killings in Boston, and or maybe it was Rhode Island, I forget. But the bottom line is they released a video for the first time the other day, and I was watching it, and I got to be honest with you, Mike. If they asked me, do you see a gun in his hand, I can't, without beyond a shadow of a doubt, tell you that that's a gun in his hand. There is a shaded area. It blends in with his sweatpants. He does appear to have something in his hand, but I can't tell you for sure, 100%, if that's a gun. If that's what the prosecution has, this guy's getting off.
Well, I'm sure they have other things besides that, but I couldn't agree more. I blew the picture up. I blew it up. I shrunk it. I did everything. I lightened it. I darkened the screen. I did everything I could to try to say, okay, it's a gun. I couldn't do it.
Right.
I couldn't do it. It was just some kind of object in his hand. I mean, plus, it didn't even look like Hernandez. I mean, I guess because it's the graininess of the video. But if someone said to me, "Well, that's not Aaron Hernandez," okay, I guess it's not. I mean, I'm kind of looking. I without a shadow of a doubt, I can't say no. You're wrong. That is Aaron Hernandez. It's a grainy video.
I want to ask you a quick question. With all the technology of 3D video and all these high definition video, even what we're on right now, why do people have surveillance video that's the worst bank video type cameras? I mean, you're talking about, 1927 camera quality. I mean, unbelievable that's what all they have as proof. I think it's ridiculous. And you're right, man. I mean, I didn't even think of that. I was focusing on the gun. But you're right. You can't even, beyond a shadow of a doubt, identify that that's Aaron Hernandez. There's no tattoos you can visibly see. There's no the face doesn't look different. It's a man, that's in sweats, and that's it. And he's carrying something in his one hand. That's it. And he's in Aaron Hernandez's house. I mean, assumption is all these things. It's circumstance. I tell you what, if that's all they have, this kid's getting off.
Listen, like you said, innocent until proven guilty. I mean, and especially in this country, everybody, especially a high-profile celebrity or athlete, they're guilty in our eyes. As soon as something happens, they're guilty.
I hate that.
Well, you're right. But that's what we do. It's unfortunate.
That's not right. That's against our Constitution, and I can't stand that. If I accuse John from LDL TV for robbing my house and make it a big media event, everybody's going to assume he's guilty. Now he has to prove that he's innocent, and it's the other way around, man. I'm supposed to prove that he's guilty, not the other way around. And meanwhile, Hernandez is sitting in jail. They haven't even decided. He's in there without bail. By the time that and then they're bending the rules for the prosecution. They had their deadline to present their case to determine if he could be let out on bail. And they get more time. I mean, I don't know, man. It seems pretty unfair to me. And I don't care about Hernandez one way or another, but I just don't like the system. And I'm laughing at that prosecution. It seems like the OJ case all over. I mean, if you're not going to have a strong case against somebody, you better make sure your ducks are in a row, man.
Well, like in the OJ case, you pretty much knew that. I mean, they had a lot of evidence, and yet this guy was, acquitted. And
Glove didn't fit.
Well, and how stupid was the prosecution to make him try the glove on? Did you really think he was going to, oh, look, it could have been my glove, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look like I have arthritis on my hand, and I can't get my hand in there. I mean, it was stupid. I mean, so it's the prosecution. If they don't put up a good case, they could lose this. And he is innocent until proven guilty. I mean, just because you saw some kind of grainy video, but you know what? I don't know what they have. You don't know what they have up their sleeve. We just don't know. And plus there are other people involved, and they might sing, and they might say, "Oh,
but they serial murderer."
They're trying to call him a serial murderer. And listen, a good defense team is going to – all they have to do is put reasonable doubt in the juror's mind. And number one, that video is going to be – the defense team is high-fiving over that video. That's number one. Number two, the other two guys have previous records. They're not going to be worth anything. I'm telling you, this guy's going to get off. You watch. He's going to get off. It's going to be that he is going to be the scapegoat. He was the guy that was trying to help the other one. They're going to point the finger at one of the other guys for being the trigger man. And the bottom line is – the whole reason for why he killed this guy, if he did, because he was hanging around with the wrong people. I mean, because he's got gang tattoos on, you're gonna hold that against him. That's prejudice. I mean, every single thing that the prosecution has, I can give you a valid. So anybody that has a tattoo that looks like it could be gang related, they're automatically guilty for things. That's prejudice, man. You can't do that. Well, you can't do it.
The quote unquote motivation for the killing was because he was talking to people that had a beef with Hernandez. That's their case. That's why you shot him.
Yes, man. Come on, are you gonna get a jury to buy that, Mike? I mean, come on, man. Come on. That you're talking about a notorious, vicious guy. An individual that would do that is a guy, not an NFL player that just signed a $40 million contract. That I'm sorry, but it's going to be hard to convince a jury of that. I'm sorry. Let's jump.
You're right. The contract, the young girlfriend, the newborn baby.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's going to be tough for the prosecution. You think, like you said, you look at it, a little slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk. Like you said, they got to prove it. And
then you're talking about a humongous lawsuit against the state and all of that for ruining his career, the slander, it's keeping him in jail. That's why he's not saying anything. I'm telling you right now, he's going to get off. Anyway, let's talk a little about the Jets. They made it official. They signed Geno Smith. Now all of a sudden, there's a huge competition in camp. We were hearing everything leading up to the actual signing was that everything was leaning towards Sanchez, but now all of a sudden it's nobody knows. It's the decision is going to be made quickly. What's your thoughts on that quarterback situation, real quick?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a huge competition. I think right now the only thing that Geno Smith has over Mark Sanchez is, without a doubt, he's got a much stronger arm. But just having a stronger arm doesn't make you a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not familiar with the West Coast offense. Mark has been around the pro game, 4 years. I think he's grasping on to Morningweg's West Coast a little bit better than Smith. Smith came from a system in West Virginia where 95% of his snaps were in shotgun formation. They said that he's having problems with it, and it might take him a little bit longer to grasp the system, but right now it seems to be Sanchez's position to lose. It's not, to me, it's not a competition right now. It's Sanchez's to lose. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. What's your thoughts on the Jets not getting the deals done with D. Milner and also Sheldon Richardson, 2 first-round picks from this year that are, at least the way we're looking at, especially Milner, important pieces of the team this year? Why are they playing games with these guys?
I think it's like some wording. I've heard it's like wording in the contract. It's not the money issue right now. So that's the latest I've heard. I think it'll get done. I thought Richardson was done. I thought it was only Milner that was out right now, but I know for a fact it's just Milner. But yeah, it'll get done. I mean, I know Rex said he's disappointed that he's not here, but listen, these contracts these guys sign, they're not baseball contracts. So you want to see as much money up front as possible, and I'm sure that has something to do with it right now.
Speaking about contracts, how about McKnight? Here's a guy that says, people were talking about the recent signings of the 2 running backs, and they're saying, well, what about you, McKnight? Blah, blah. He says, nah, I'm going to be starting. They're going to have to kill me to get me out of the starting lineup. Well, how about him coming in, failing the fitness test? Right now, he was put on the unable to perform list. That's ridiculous for this guy. And I'm going to use my appalled word again. Here's a guy I wasn't even crazy about, and he fails the physical. I mean, come on, man. What's your thoughts?
It's inexcusable. I mean, you're in a position now. They traded away Sean Green, or he left for free agency, I should say. You bring in one guy. They bring in. He's already got with the law. The other guy, he's never started before. He had an opportunity. And to come in and fail, your conditioning. I mean, seriously.
That's crazy.
It's inexcusable.
He's not even a big guy. He was small. So I guess he's on the Billy C diet or something. I don't know. But speaking of running backs, I was really surprised that they didn't make a play for Peyton Hillis, who just signed with Tampa. This guy busted onto the scene. Nobody could bring him down. Then he got a little greedy. He didn't play for a couple of years, learned his lesson, and the Jets, just like they dragged Braylon Edwards along for a while. I mean, they're looking, we need a receiver. We need a receiver. We need a receiver. And it's like, what about Braylon Edwards? I mean, this guy has done nothing but positive things. Yes, he had a bad pass with the Browns and stuff, but for the Jets, he's done nothing but be there as a security blanket for Sanchez. He's made the catches that they want over the middle. He's made the good catches. He's blocked downfield. I love this guy. I told you, every time we email each other back and forth, I love Braylon Edwards. I just don't get it. There's got to be something that either Rex doesn't like him or the org doesn't like him. There's something, because statistics just tell me another story, and I just don't get it. What's your thoughts, man?
As far as the running back position and Peyton Hillis, that doesn't bother me. Peyton Hillis hasn't been relevant since 2010, so he
hasn't played.
Again, injuries. He's not. And when he was playing, he wasn't playing up to his potential.
It wasn't an injury. He was holding out for more money, and the team just basically got pissed. And then he was labeled as a cancer. So that's why he missed all of last year.
Oh, and that you want to bring a cancer into the locker room? Don't we have enough circus going on?
I was going to say, wait, isn't that the prerequisite to be on the New York Jets? I mean, come on.
Exactly. I want to get away from that, but
listen, you just said you're relying on a running back that's got all kinds of legal problems going on.
He's here already. It's not like he had the legal problems and then we brought him in. We brought him in before the legal problems came out. But I don't want a guy who's quote unquote been a cancer in the locker room.
How about guys?
I know he's done it already.
How about coaches that run with the Bulls? You like them?
Listen, I've had this coach for 4 years. It's not like he ran with the Bulls and I got him over here. Listen, it's enough of a circus. I don't need Peyton Hillis. I never been a big fan. Yeah, I did see it. It wasn't even running with the Bulls. It was jumping up the fence.
He's jumping up the fence. I mean,
yeah, he didn't run.
He couldn't leap. Talk about leaping a building in a single bound. I never saw Rex Ryan move so fast in my life, man. I mean, he didn't run with nothing. And then you see that poor slob that got that horn right up the kazoo. I mean, oh my!
And I have no problem with that. I have no problem. I root for the Bulls. Yeah. I root for the Bulls. I love when the bullfighting when they jump into the stands too. I love that.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I want you to give me some one-word answers. At the end, we'll have some more. Opportunity to get into this in a couple of weeks. But Mark Sanchez or Geno Smith, who's going to be the starter?
Sanchez.
As of today.
Sanchez.
All right. Santiago Holmes, do you think his
Antonio
will whatever. Will he play this year? That's all I'm asking. Will he play for the New York Jets this year?
No.
As far as Darrelle Revis is concerned with Tampa, he was cleared to play, to practice and everything else. Will he make the whole year this year? Will he perform? Forget his performance. Will he start and be healthy for the whole year in Tampa?
Yes.
The Jets, the defensive team, they're talking about this as one of the biggest overhauls in the history of the team in 1 year, and including that move, they moved our boy Q. They call him Q-Man now. Copels, 280-plus pounds. He's now a linebacker. What's your thoughts on that move? Is this defense going to be effective?
One-word answer?
Yeah.
Or do I elaborate? Yeah, yes, effective, yes.
Okay, all right.
I can't elaborate. You told me one word.
All right, well, good. Rex Ryan.
No, I don't believe in that position, though. I don't believe him playing linebacker. God, one word.
More than one word. I said one word. One word. All right, Rex Ryan, okay? He's taken over. Now we all know that he's not himself. You know, he's not bragging that they're going to make the Super Bowl, which I can't stand. If you're going to be that kind of a guy, be that kind of a guy to the end. He's reneged on that. He's not doing that. But he has taken over the defense, and this is a follow-up question for the defense. Do you think that defense is going to return to playoff and championship playoff form with Rex running the defense by himself?
No.
Marty Ball, which is being called Marty Ball, which like I said earlier, I thought that when they refer to Marty Ball, they were referring to Marty Schottenheimer, not Marty Moringwig. But they're calling it Marty Ball. Will it help whoever is on that offense this year? Is the offense going to be a decent offense?
Yes. Decent.
Okay, decent. Okay, I gave you that leeway. Decent. As far as receivers go, we know that we got Braylon Edwards. That's about it. As far as the receiving corps, are we going to be surprised this year? Are the receivers going to surprise us, or is it going to be a running game?
Running.
And of the running backs, Chris Ivory, Mike Goodson, or even Bilali Powell, are those going to be the three major runners, or will we be getting another name that we don't know yet?
Those are your three runners.
Okay, let me elaborate on that. Chris Ivory, Mike Goodson, Powell. Who's going to be our feature back?
Ivory.
No, you like Ivory. You always have.
I love Ivory.
Yeah.
He's going to surprise.
Not
to me, but to others.
Hey, listen. I hope he stays healthy. Last question. You know, the safety was a strong position last year with the Laundry, the guy that we lost. His brother's on the team this year, DeJuan Laundry, and they're expecting him to fill in. They're calling that being a weak part of the defense. What's your thoughts? Is it the weakest part? Is it the weakest part, or is there another part of the defense that you feel is weaker? Linebacker. Wow. You know, I like some of the linebackers, but with that move with Copels, I lied. I do have one other question. Kellen Winslow, when he was drafted and he played, there was a lot of anticipation about him and stuff. He's obviously fell down in the depth charts. He's with the Jets right now. Is he going to make an impact for the Jets, or is he going to, fall in his normal way, get injured or cause some other issues or what? Is he going to be a positive impact, yes or no?
Yes.
Huh, that's good. Any other? Go ahead. Elaborate on what you want. I know that's killing you.
It's killing me because I have these one-word answers. I think let's start with Winslow. Yeah, I think he's going to be a positive impact. I think he's going to be a safety net for Sanchez because I do think Sanchez will start the season. I'm not saying he's going to finish the season, but he will definitely be named the starter. I'm shocked that Winslow's been in the league for 10 years already. It's amazing. But he's going to take over that role that Dustin Keller, provided for Sanchez, and it's a safety role, as well as Braylon Edwards. The running backs, you mentioned that. I told you I'm a big fan of Chris Ivory. I think he just needs to start. He's a starter in this league. I don't know if he's an every down back, but every time he carries that ball, he has over a 5-yard per carry average. So I think him with the other players that we have, it's going to be a better running game than the last 2 years with Sean Green. And as we know, as Jet fans, when Mark Sanchez has a solid running game, Mark Sanchez is a better quarterback. He's always going to be a game manager, but he manages better when he has a solid running game. Safeties you mentioned, I think safeties are still the strong point of this team. It was the best positions defensively last year. We didn't lose a beat as far as safeties goes with Darrelle Revis being injured and out of the game.
I'm talking safety. I was talking about safety.
You're just safeties, not corners, not
right,
secondary.
Not corners. Because corners, we are solid. We have a good depth, but it's the safety position that they right now they only have DeJuan Laundry and I think one other guy, and only two players. And the safety position.
Okay. Safeties, that could be a problem. I mean, DeJuan Landry is solid. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he might be as good as his brother. He's definitely more of a ball hawk than his brother. His brother is just a vicious hitter. I like him, and he's been with Rex before, so he knows Rex's system. As far as the other guys, I mean, the most experience we have at safety is 3 years, and that's Jarrett. And how often do you see him on the field? I mean, that's a problem. I can name all the safeties on the team, and you'd say, who's that guy?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that the safeties can be an issue. I don't know who's going to step up. As far as the whole secondary as a whole, I like it. I like the cornerbacks. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If you're talking just secondaries, I mean, there's a potential problem there. Who's going to step up besides Landry? In the secondary, I don't know yet. That's yet to be seen.
One last yes or no answer. All right, is Rex Ryan going to keep his job after this season? No. So even if he gets him to the playoffs, you think he's gone?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think you might be surprised, and they'll win more games than we originally thought they were going to win. I mean, you and I, when the schedule first came out, we sat down, and I think we gave them, maybe 4 wins. You might be surprised this team could possibly be a 500 team. But to get to the playoffs, that's a tall order.
Playoffs!
And the bottom line is that no GM worth his weight wants to come in and be told who his head coach is going to be. So that's what's happening with Idzik, and he's being told Rex is your coach. He doesn't want that.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and he's trying to make this his team, and we'll see. Hey, one last thing before we wrap it up here. Did you catch the Forbes list of the 20 most valuable sports franchises? Included 12 NFL teams. I was a little surprised, to be honest with you. I wasn't surprised to see the Giants there. They fall in at number 9. But I was surprised at the Jets at number 14. Do you think it's because of why? I can't figure it out. I mean, why do you think?
Well, I mean, because football is the most popular sport in the United States. That's number one. I mean, I think most of the teams that were on that list were football teams. However, if you took the list, it's not just the United States. It's in the world, right?
Right.
And I believe 3 of the top 6, I believe, were soccer teams.
Yeah,
yes. I mean,
but then you got the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Dodgers. They were all in the top 4. But the Dallas Cowboys were the highest NFL team, $2.1 billion. Now the Mets and the Yankees, they have their own television network, so that helps and all of that happy stuff too. Mikey, you know how I like to close the show here with what happened on this day in New York sports history. I got some pretty interesting ones today. On this day, July 27th in 1883, it was the owner, John from LDL TV. It was his birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. Born in 1883, John Muskiunas from LDL TV. Happy birthday to John. But also on this day, 1883, the Mets. Now, they had a team. It was called the Metropolitans. But the Mets get – and I find this extremely odd. And your assignment for this week, Brooklyn Mike, is to find out where they come up with this. But check this out. On this day, July 27th in 1883, the New York Mets or Metropolitans, they get a 9-0 forfeit victory over the Philadelphia A's when the A's didn't show up for a scheduled AA game at the Polo Grounds, leaving 2,500 fans pissed off and looking for a refund. Where did they come up with the 9-0 score for a forfeit? Obviously,
one run per game.
Yeah.
Oh, one
run per inning. Sorry, yes.
Well, that's wild. Do you know that for a fact?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I never knew that. Hey, thanks, Uncle Mikey, for educating me. But you heard it, Mike. Brooklyn Mikey just gave me the answer. On this day, July 27th in 1918, Jack Dempsey knocks out Fred Fulton in 18.6 seconds of the very first round at the Federal League ballpark in Harrison, New Jersey, in front of over 12,000 fans, which most of them weren't even at their seats before the fight was over. So you can imagine what they were thinking. On this day, July 27th in 1927, after only one season, the Brooklyn Lions withdrew from the NFL and transfers ownership to Charles Pyle, the owner of the AFL New York Yankees. And ironically enough, on the same day, July 27th, 2 years later, Charles, they called him Cash and Carry Pyle, surrenders the New York Yankees football team to the NFL and is awarded, the team is awarded to the Stapleton Athletic Club of Staten Island. And this was something I never knew even existed, man, and it wasn't that long ago because the New York Mets were founded the year later. But on this day, July 27th in 1959, an announcement of the Continental League of Professional Baseball is made. Teams from New York, Houston, Denver, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Atlanta, Dallas, and Buffalo are announced as being participants in this league. Strange thing. I never even heard of that. But that's what took place on this day, July 27th, in New York sports history. Mikey, what's your final thoughts for today?
Final thoughts today is, I'm a big believer in freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And I think there's a bad job that was done by the security in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know if you heard this, but there was a female Brewers fan who altered her Ryan Braun shirt, and by altering it, she added an F and a D to spell fraud, which she's right on. And they kicked her out of the stadium. Actually, they were going to throw her out of the stadium, and she said, well, I'll just turn the jersey inside out, which she did, and she stayed for the game. Well, that's a bad job by the Milwaukee, security and whoever, runs that, who made that decision, she has every right to wear that. She has every right to be. She paid her good money for a Ryan Braun jersey, and we all know what he did. So she has every right to be pissed. She has every right to express how she feels, and that's just a bad job. And I hope everybody does the same thing to their jersey, and they should actually make jerseys that say fraud with the number 8 on it. So that's my final thought.
I agree with you. This whole country, we're losing. We're giving up our rights, it seems, and I don't know. Hey, my final thoughts is I want to thank John from LDL TV. He's working real hard in the South Florida studio to produce this show, so I want to give a shout-out to my man John. And, unfortunately, he's gets to brag. He's a Miami Heat fan, and they're champions, so he won't be bragging about the Dolphins this year or the Marlins, but at least he can hang his hat on the Miami Heat. Brooklyn Mike and John, it was a great show, and I look forward to next week, guys.
Ciao.
Hey, I like to say ciao.